Ready for the ride? Vroom vroom. This is Boom Radio.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Once again, it's the boombar reaching you from wet Lagos. My name is Shola Rogers.
And my name is Oladeluko. Good afternoon. It is a very interesting afternoon today at the bar. We're going to be talking a lot of things. One of the major things is the NLC strike. The NLC strike seems to, the NLC and the TUC, the labor unions, seem to have gone against what the courts have said and definitely gone with their strike. And of course, we're going to be talking about, there's a lot of breakdown of the strike, who's striking, who is not, and a few other things as time goes on. Sorry, please, could you fix your microphone? All right. So, like I said, it's basically the NLC strike. Oh no, sorry, it's the labor union strike that's happened because they beat one person. Still keep saying it. Any which way, let's get right into today's show. As we had said, there was an announcement. There's been an announcement for a couple of days after the NLC chairman got beaten. By whom? We do not know. Sorry, could you, Mike? Where he got beaten. We're not saying that it's good that he got beaten, but we're not saying it was good he got beaten, but you know, it is what it is. And by who, we do not know. But the aftermath is that there is a nationwide strike. I'm laying this background for people that do not have an idea why there is a strike in Nigeria at the moment. It is not about minimum wage. It's not about welfare of workers. It's nothing. It's because one person got bitten. Literally.
Okay.
Literally, because one person got bitten.
Yeah, I'm back on. Okay. Yes, this is where we are at the moment. If you are Nigerian or you are interested in things that are happening in and around the world, but especially from the Nigerian and African perspective, you are in the right place. This is the boombar. We are talking about the workers' union. In Nigeria, there are two recognized workers' unions, the Nigerian Labour Congress, that is also an affiliate of a party, a political party in Nigeria called the Labour Party. Not necessarily, in fact, owners of the Labour Party. If you look at the structure of the Labour Party, and of course the Trade Union Congress, which is also a part owner of the party. And I've said it on this table more than once that for me, what I see mostly is a political party, not a union. So last week, before the off-cycle elections in Imo State, where the president of the Nigerian Labour Congress actually is from, that's his home state, Imo, there were a lot of talk about him going there, that, oh, look, he doesn't care about what this happens and that happens. But what I want to do is go a little bit further back to when this new government came into power, the government of President Bola Tinubu came into power. This particular trade union had been looking for one reason or the other to go on strike.
I think so.
They've had several meetings.
It was just an excuse to go on strike.
Yes. They've had several meetings here and there. They've had meetings where this particular Tony Ajaero refused to go to the meeting, and they had only the TUC there. It looks like it was always spoiling for a fight, and this is what they're trying to do, as if there's some kind of ulterior motive behind it. Yes, my opinions, and I stand solely by this, because you cannot hold an entire nation to ransom because of a personal issue. And this is why at times you start to pray, thank God that this kind of people did not get access to power. You cannot tell us that even your foray into emo politics was unnecessary. You were definitely biased. That's why you went there.
Yeah.
You went there in the week of an election. Demarketing the incumbent. That's your problem. That's you people's problem. Don't make it a national problem. Last week, and you see, this particular government, I think they're not very serious. The president of Bola Tinubu, I said it, they're not very serious. What empowers anybody to shut down an international airport and there are no repercussions?
I don't understand. See, the amazing things that go on in this country is the part I don't get. And I think that a part of me feels that since they announced this matter last week, it looked like they were looking for a reaction from the government. They did not get. Two ways. It looks like, number one, they're spoiling for a fight. They just wanted to look for an excuse to go on strike, whether or not it is. And two, they're probably looking for some way to get something from the government, and the government is not answering them at the moment, because it does not make any sense. Nobody is saying that beating the NLC president or him getting assaulted is a good thing. It's not a good thing.
Nobody has a right to
put hands on other
any
people.
other person.
It doesn't make any sense. But shutting down the economy of the country, because I don't even think you can beat the president and the whole economy should shut down.
Life goes on, actually.
Like, literally, in this country, a whole president died. Life went on.
Oh, yeah, there were parties.
Actually, 2 presidents have died in Nigeria.
And there were parties. People moved on.
People moved on.
Celebrated
one. Another one. Literally, there's a head of state and another president even died and nothing happened. We moved on. So how is the NLC president getting beaten and the whole country has to go on shutdown? Are you kidding? Who are you? What's you people's game plan? It didn't make sense then. Still not making sense. And I don't know when it's going to make sense, because my question to them will be, okay, so what will make you call off the strike?
When they're unbeaten. You know,
like what's going to make you call off?
Like they're flying.
What will you now say, okay?
They're flying back in reverse.
You say,
in reverse.
Because you are calling this an indefinite strike. So what's going to make it stop? When I don't get it. Make it make sense.
I see the NLC trying to maybe demystify itself. The powers that they're supposed to have that we used to respect and relish, I see them losing it. This is my opinion. This is what I see. I see the NLC using the power of the strike to the point where it becomes irrelevant. You are not fighting for us. You're not fighting for the people. You're fighting for yourselves. And it's glaring, because you said that somebody was physically, and it's wrong. Even that assault that happened to Ajaero was avoidable, but he went there when there was even a court injunction. So you guys know the truth, you know the facts about these things, and you're now twisting it. It's almost as if you're like, you know what, let me go. Let's set this thing up so that we can shut the nation down. That's what I see you trying to do. At a time where all hands must be on deck. Look, elections have been won and lost. Whether you supported the person that won or not, it's not the matter. The fact that the person has won is been sworn in, it was taken to court, and the Supreme Court has affirmed and reaffirmed. The appeal court did the same thing. It's time for us to move on. Governance.
We can't continue like this. It's not making sense anymore.
So
I said it before,
play your opposition politics without hurting, the innocent and neutral bystanders. But this is what you're doing now. At this point, you are. In fact, check out their official Twitter handle. They're basically saying, sit at home. And sit at home has taken a new dimension in Nigeria. When you hear that now, what is reminiscent, or what comes to your mind immediately is reminiscent of what's happening in the southeastern part of Nigeria, where a proscribed body forces people to sit at home on Mondays so that they don't work. They are unproductive.
Yeah,
because they're protesting something that they're now, the people that they are fighting for are the ones that are suffering it. And that's what you are now saying that Nigerians should do.
Bukola Medubi says he should just take over the country, please.
Abi?
It's not making any sense.
Kuku, go and declare yourself president.
Let's call it spade a spade. I don't know what people are thinking about, but interestingly, looks like there is more what's the word? There is more. I'm trying to look for the word compliance actually in some states than more in some other states. There's some states where the judiciary is not open, the train stations are not open. ASU, I said that they're joining the strike.
Now, we always like to break it down. ASU is the Association of University Lecturers, one of the recognized associations of university lecturers. And that is one body. If you're looking for someone who has virtually
exhausted
the efficacy of the strike in labor issues, it is this body called ASU. They have striked to the point where striking now means ASU. Like, if you want to call a footballer, they say, oh, that guy is a striker. No, don't, but just say that guy is an ASU. Oh, that means he likes to strike. Yes, ASU can strike for Africa. And you see, again, I said, when you do these things too much, it loses its efficacy and potency.
I think that ASU they're so used to going on strike that it was a problem for them not to go on strike for so long. So any excuse for them to join anybody else's strike, because now they cannot go on strike by themselves.
In fact, this particular ASU, when one of them is angry with his wife at home, they will strike. That's what is happening with this ASU. So why won't ASU jump on the bandwagon of the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress? Again, yes, sadly, the way Nigeria is structured, these so-called unions are like cartels or cults that control or work. They don't even control. They work in essential places that needs to keep the economy going. For instance, the union members work in the oil industry. They work in the banking industry. They work in the power sector. And what happens is, even in the health sector, so what happens is that they down tools, thinking that they're putting pressure on government because they're going to make people suffer so that people can cry out, then so that government can bow to them. What if that's not what's that thing, mafia or mafioso style? What is it again? Like, basically using us as cannon fodder, using us, the people, as pawns in their game. This time around, Nigerians are going through a lot, and we don't know how they are going to react. And I think ASU, NUC, and
ASU is just looking for an excuse just to sit at home.
TUC.
Keeping in mind
know
that
what they are doing.
There is another academic association now, the Congress of
Konua,
Congress of Nigerian Universities of Academics or something. So they are saying that they're not going on strike, like ASU. Which, the truth of the matter is that, what's your business with the strike? Really and truly, what exactly is your business with the strike? Why are you going on strike? It doesn't make any sense. It's the same way, I think that this strike thing gets to a point where it becomes criminal. Why I said so is that news came out this morning where that there's going to be a blackout as the transmission company of Nigeria.
Dolukbo.
Wait.
Dolukbo, Mabino. Sorry, I apologize. Don't say news came out. Say that it is something that the Nigerian Labour Congress put out from their official Twitter handle.
Yeah, but the Daily Post was the one that carried that news.
Then everybody else carried
that
it.
The transmission company of Nigeria was had shut down because of the strike, and there was going to be a blackout because they were going to shut down, or they had shut down the national grid. Incidentally, for people watching, so Bukola says, as well as strike at 5 and 6. Oh yeah, more like 5, 6, 7, and 8, and 9, and 10, and 11. Okay, so incidentally, as this news broke, as I was in my office, just trying to come up with news, there was power. Keep in mind, this power has been since yesterday, like uninterrupted.
It even
since
rained.
Yesterday. It rained about an hour ago. The power did not go out.
As we speak.
Even
if we're on our gas gen, there's still power.
There's still power, yeah?
And you said that they shut down the national grid.
Said that they had shut down the national grid. I know that is news, but I just couldn't find a way to type it in as news, because I'm like, how is the national grid shut and I have power? Like, it doesn't make any sense. So that was when I knew that there was probably something wrong with this news. Only for the TCN to come out and say that the news that was released earlier was false, and there was nothing about shutting down a national grid. Because the truth of the matter is that, let's look at it this way. There are numerous hospitals, at least federal hospitals, that are attached to the national grid. Of course, state hospitals. Let's even not talk about police stations or hospitals where some people are on life support, their babies in incubators, There are a lot of things that, let's just look at just hospitals alone. And because one person got bitten, you're going to shut down the whole country. People are going to die as a result of it, because one person that was according to reports, was not even supposed to be where he got bitten, and then you're going to kill people in the process.
Take it away from the health.
You're going to say that people will not go to market because...
Take it away from the health sector.
People don't even know you.
Go to the market, just like she talked about, or look at the agri sector. I remember a similar strike like this, where not too long ago, where the national grid got cut off for days and everything. I know someone who was into poultry farming, and that actually messed up his entire farm, because at that point in time, his backup generator packed up, and there was no power from the grid, and the guy lost virtually everything, that he had. We don't look at those people. We don't look at the people who use, their last card to invest. The people who have gone to buy ice so that they can sell their drinks. The people who sell the ice too cannot make the ice anymore. The people who sell perishable foods that need storage, that need refrigeration. Mm-hmm. But you see, you would still rather shut down the country just to prove a point that they said they slapped somebody. Oh, they beat me. He said they beat him.
But I thought that he was going to, what's it called?
Abroad.
He was going abroad because he was being flown abroad. Uncle, you were...
This is not the way to go. Look, there are other ways for you to push your agenda. But the truth
It's not even a very bright agenda, I'm sorry. It's not.
The truth is, are you really fighting for the Nigerian people? Do you really care that much? Because if you do, calling a nationwide strike is not... You even said nationwide strike and sit at home order. Again...
As who?
Nigeria's informal sector. You see, there's a way this thing will finally demystify the Nigerian Labour Congress and the TUC. The bulk of the people who are working in this country are not even members of these unions. They are not members of your union. But the problem that we have now is that we're not the ones that have access to the grid. We're not the ones that have access to the gates of the National Assembly, which has been shut as we speak. Not only that, if you go to places like Ebonyi State now, they shut down a lot of those government facilities. Universities are being locked up now. Hospitals are being reported to have been affected by this. All because a few people have an agenda. They have an axe to grind with the government. Everybody must suffer. One way or the other, this will lead to things that I hope will not get out of hands, because Nigerians are already going through it. They're already going through it. And here we are now coming on a strike. There's some parts in Edo State, in Ogun State, in Ebonyi State, in some parts of Kaduna. We already know that and another thing that they do is they actually use force. They go to places where members of their union work at, who have probably not agreed to join, and they go there and get violent with them and kick them out of those premises or picket the places so that they can actually drive home their point and carry out their agenda. Now, in Abuja, the news is out there. Fuel has gone scarce again.
Wait, I have a question though. Why is it that it is literally at the seat of power that fuel suddenly gets scarce? Do you notice it happens every time?
Yeah, the biggest issue that they have in Abuja is that they don't really have any major depots like Lagos has. Fuel has to be transported from a long distance to where they are. Imagine if the Kaduna refinery was on stream, it would have been easier for them to get fuel, diesel, PMS, and all of those things. So they would always feel the impact more than people who are closer to the depots, the major depots in places like Ibadan, in Ore.
Wait, I know that. See,
and Lagos.
Sorry, this
Port Harcourt.
NLC strikes and all that. We're also not forgetting that there is a court order that is asking nobody, the NLC or the labor unions, to go on strike.
So they are basically, like I said, they're basically telling you that they don't care. So
that part of the fact that you are flouting a court order.
They don't care about no court
Keep in mind that this is a court that can literally disband you people.
They don't care about no court orders. They don't. And, if this government is serious, they will take the right kind of actions to protect the citizens.
It doesn't make any sense.
Take the right kind of action to protect the general populace. You cannot put us at the mercy of less than 20, 30 people who sit down somewhere, have these funny meetings and come up with a nationwide strike. If you're even going to continue fighting the government on minimum wage, yeah, people will look and say, oh yeah, you're fighting for a better, but you're saying because they slapped somebody. Now, I repeat again, it is not right for anybody to lay their hands on anybody.
So, in different places, looks like there's what's it called? There's compliance in more places than others. In Lagos State, for example, according to report, they're saying that work is going on as usual.
Oh yeah.
Even in the secretariat.
Yes. Oh yes. And these are members of your union. Work will go on. The banks are open, because...
He said even banks within the secretariat are actually open.
Yeah, within and without.
Schools are open. So my question is, how did Lagos get to do that?
Yeah, because this is what happens initially. So what they now do is that they will now mobilize and go to these kind of places. That's their modus. That's what the NLC does. Like when they say that, so Lagos is not compliant with the strike, they now bring their troublemakers from different parts of Nigeria and go to that place and cause trouble. That's what they do. They're going to go shut down everything, and because they need to come across and say, okay, now we shut it down. Come and talk to us now. It just doesn't mafioso style.
I'm sorry, it just doesn't make any sense. Didn't make sense before. Still not making sense. I would really like to see what the courts actually have to do about this, because really and truly, if even we're asking even the presidency to follow court orders, are we saying that the labor unions are above the law?
Yes, now that's what they're basically telling you.
Is that what we're saying?
Loud and clear. That's what they're saying.
Now, according to report, there are 19 unions in Nigeria that have decided to follow this strikes. The Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, that's SANU, the College of Education Academic Staff Union, the Academic Staff Union of Polytechnic. These people are the ones that are kind of used to strike normally anyway. The National Union of Food, Beverage and Tobacco Employees, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Polytechnics, the Medical and Health Workers Union of Nigeria, the National Association of Academic Technologists, National Union of Postal and Telecommunication Employees, the National Union of Local Government Employees, Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, the National Union of Public Service Reportorial, Secretarial, Data Processors and Allied Workers, I don't know what that is, National Union of Textile Garments and Tailoring Workers, the National Union of Nigerian Nurses and Midwives, the National Union of Banks, Insurance and Financial Institutions, employees, the maritime workers, the National Union of Electricity Employees, the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, and Nigerian Union of Railway Workers. So these are the people that have joined the strike, even though in between that there's still not total compliance about it. I would like to see how the government is going on it. According to reports, the Minister of Labour is supposed to be in a meeting with the labor unions. My own is, please, I would just like my question answered. What's going to stop this strike? Are they going to unbeat the person that was unbeaten?
Again, we don't respect the judiciary in this country. A lot of things laws are passed, judgments are given, but nobody follows through. Injunctions are there, nobody responds. The same labor union, they are parting. There's a judgment that they are flouting. Mm-hmm. Now, even the media supports them by saying factions. There's nothing like factions. If the court has spoken, the court has spoken.
The court has spoken, yeah.
And this is where we are today. So that's why they can flout it, because guess what? They will lock up the courts. They've done it in some states already.
Yeah, they seem to have
they will lock
done
it up.
But
if these guys wake up one day and just say, look, this is what we want and this is what me and you, we are their message.
It's not making sense. I think that the courts, the federal government needs to do something. People can't have absolute power. It just doesn't make any sense. And and even makes it worse now because one person got beaten. Literally, just because one person got beaten. Anyway, talking about courts quickly, the court is set to deliver judgment in the appeals of Rottweiler and Jandor in Lagos State on Wednesday.
All right. Well, if the NLC people have not locked the courts by that time, we will be here to give you guys updates if it's happening live or analysis and breakdown if it has happened before we get to the bar.
Alrighty, so let's move on from that quickly and let's move on to
Mr. Ribadu. Oh, you want to move? Move
okay,
anywhere.
So
anywhere
Mr.
you want to
Ribadu,
move.
okay, since you
no, it's okay.
No,
it's
you
okay.
had talked about it. Let's just talk about it. So Mr. Ribadu has said, that's the national security advisor. Mm-hmm. That's who he is now. Yeah.
Yes.
So he has said that Nigeria was bankrupt before President Tinubu came into power, and basically kind of taking a hit at the former president Muhammadu Buhari. Now, really and in depth, was he lying?
I'm listening. I'm listening.
No, I'm just saying, is he lying?
That's not what gets to me.
Okay.
You get. It's good that Nigerians will get to hear this kind of things from politicians. Mm-hmm. They're supposed to be members of the same party. They're supposed to be almost even from the same part of the country and all of that. But when he makes this kind of statement, if you look at it from the general angle, mm-hmm. you must be happy as a Nigerian that Nuhu Ribadu, the NSA, has more or less indicted the immediate past president and saying, well, this is what he's saying, that you have bankrupted the country and giving him and Tinubu and the rest of the members of their team a country that has no funds to run on. Mm-hmm. That's one. Now, you also recall that for Buhari and his people, they would usually tell you, that their government inherited a bankrupt country too, that Nigeria was in debt and all of that. Now, Nuhu Ribadu did not make that distinction. And again, people will tell you that if you say your country was in debt and everything, 8 years, in 8 years,
what did you do to
you should have turned
the fortunes it around. So
of Nigeria around.
That's where my issue comes from. And where my issue comes from is that I think that we should get to a point where governance is not about party anymore. And it should be about, let's call a spade a spade. Let's take, for example, I know that for anybody that has been watching the boombar for a while, you'll know that I think I would not say that I was a little bit biased towards President Buhari, but I felt that it was more of let's take things the way it is, yeah, and not just criticize everything that it comes to. I've said it before and I will say it again. I think that the government of President Buhari started a revolution of infrastructure that we probably have never seen before since 1999 in this country. The government of President Buhari did a lot in that regard that we cannot take away from him. They did a lot of things that even the administration of Tinubu are enjoying right now. Take, for example, even the refineries that they're talking about that they're opening in a few weeks' time. It didn't start yesterday. It didn't start May 29th. Whether we like it or not, it is the truth. It didn't start. It's taken a lot of time to get to the point where we are now. If we go through even petroleum with the PIA and all that, even the fuel subsidy that looked like everybody said that it was President Tinubu that seemed to have the balls to take it off. But there was a lot of things that had to be in place before we got to that point. So yes, I will not knock the government of Buhari for everything. But the truth of the matter is, let's take it one by one. Even if we don't take anything else, we take the issue of the former CBN governor and how he was a lord unto himself. Remember how even the president as at then came out to defend the barbaric, the evil, the demonic, the luciferious.
Allegedly.
No, it's not alleged. It's not an allegation. I'm sorry. The very wicked money policy.
Draconian. Allegedly.
It's not alleged. Please, there's nothing alleged about. What are you alleging? Wait, did you do months without touching any notes? I say allegedly where? What are we alleging? I'm not alleging anything.
Me, I don't like touching notes before now. It's transfer that I like.
You did not suffer it. You did not suffer it.
I was not in
And then we
Nigeria.
moved to the point where even the banks, what's it called, apps were shutting down. Everything was a mess for months. Whether we like it or not, as much as we want to make noise that Emefiele did this, he had the CBN answers directly to the presidency.
president.
We seem to forget that the CBN is part of the National Economic Council, who is chaired by the vice president. Mm-hmm. There is a president that came up to give us a very long speech and even defied the courts of law. Please don't let us forget all those parts.
I can't forget now.
So if Ribadu comes up and says these things, I don't think I will fault him for saying it, because there's actually evidence. That thing, what they have done, it was later when I realized that they were literally spending Nigeria's hard-earned money to be supporting currency that is not even our own. It didn't make any sense. If they had floated the naira a long time ago, we would probably not be having it. Will have stabilized. But money that we didn't even have, we were using it to back somebody else's currency, which I don't know what sense it was in it. A whole CBN governor wanted to be president in our lifetime. You would never have thought that was ever going to be possible.
And they allowed him to continue as CBN governor.
And he still went on until President Tinubu came and kicked him out.
He said, if you want to fight, let's fight.
Let's fight. The video is there. It's not an allegation. It's evidence.
If only he was fighting for our economy like that.
Exactly. So that's where my issue comes from. At this point, former President Buhari is culpable in a lot of issues that happened in Nigeria.
So this is us speaking, our minds and our opinions generally. We'd like to hear from you guys too. You could leave us a comment on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook, because these are the places where we're streaming to. Or just maybe send us a DM if you don't want people to see what you've written. We'll read it anonymously. So we'd encourage you at Boom Radio NG or at Boom Radio NG1, But apart from wanting to hear from you guys, like, comment, and share, and leave, what you're saying. However, let's get back to this discussion about bankrupting the economy that Nuhu Ribadu more or less has said. And people have already, of course, linked Buhari to it because he's the one that was in charge. The political implications of this could be forever. Could be good, could be bad, or could be very bad. You get? Or very good. But like I said earlier, just before Dolukbo, I said Nigerians should be happy that politicians are making this kind of statements because they're more or less also setting themselves up because they now must leave a government that is not corrupt when they are leaving. In 4 years or 8 years' time, as the case may be, they must leave a government that is, because you cannot criticize someone and go back to do the same thing that the person has done. Now, politically for him, he might, have set himself up. And his own saving grace now will be that his government delivers. Being a part of this government, they have to deliver. Nigeria has to get out of the woods one way or the other. We don't know how they're going to do it, but they just have to do it because there's a job that they signed up for anyway. It's not like we went to meet them in their homes to say, please come and govern us. They're the ones that came to meet us in our homes through the TV and radio and telephones that, hey, come on, guys. We want to serve you. We want to work for you. So if they're working for us, they must actually move this country forward. But politically, Nuhu Ribadu has to keep his fingers crossed and hope that, his government delivers. The government of him and Tinubu and the rest of them, they deliver. Because Nigerians really and truly are tired. Nigerians, they just want a country that works, Nigerians just want the basic things in life, fix the power issues that we have, fix the security issues, fix our economy, and please, the dollarization of the Nigerian economy must stop.
It's not making sense.
It must stop.
The truth of the matter is that, like you said, as much as, yes, there's the story of throwing blames around, we should also move past it because the truth of the matter is that those people are gone with their issues. You are the one that is on ground now. What can you do to salvage the matter? Enough of, okay, they did. Okay, we've heard. The Buhari government bankrupted the country. We agree. We are not saying. What are you going to do to turn the tide around?
Staying on that tip before we move to any other story. The government of Buhari spent so many years telling us how bad the PDP was. Okay, fine. But the only way you can justify anything is to now, juxtapose it or draw parallels. That, in 8 years, we did X number of roads. In 16 years of the PDP, these are the number of roads that they did.
I agree. And
these are the things that we want to hear. That the dollar was X amount.
And it dropped to
this amount.
Because it's the truth. We need to actually look at. That's why I will say that I will not say for a fact.
The blame game is something that politicians like to play, but Nigerians are not interested. Nigerians are interested in results. That okay, we get it. So the national grid before Buhari came, what were they generating? What are they generating now? Do you understand? What have you done in brass tacks or in real facts now, not just
let us move on.
So the blame game is something that we're not interested in. We just want good results for this country because this country is too blessed to be in the situation that she is in at the moment and has been for a couple of years now.
Okay, now let's move on from that quickly, and then let's move on to something very interesting that happened of days ago, and it is where the Saudi Arabia authorities canceled the visas of 264 Nigerian passengers airlifted by Air Peace upon their arrival in Jeddah.
Yeah.
Said later on about 87 passengers were allowed to go in, but a majority of them were sent back to Nigeria.
Some people have said that the principle of reciprocity, I hope I got the pronunciation of that word right, is what Nigeria should adopt. Now, this is coming off the background of your president, Tinubu, and his people went to Saudi Arabia. They had this Saudi Africa summit thing. Then they now had a one-on-one, interaction between the Nigerian top brass and the Saudi top brass. and they came up with some resolutions. We've seen some of those things on paper. How believable will it be now for the neutrals who want to believe that Tinubu is really trying to turn things around to say that while he's still in the same Saudi Arabia,
They're chasing
for lesser age, they are chasing his people back. Yes, some of Tinubu's people have already come out to defend it and say, oh, that this happened again in 2012, it's happened in the past, the Saudis have done this and they've done that did Nigeria do, the Nigeria, you gave them visas. I know that there's a rider in everybody's visa that you reserve the right to
revoke
people's visas whenever. We get that. But
well,
in this day and age, when the dollar has become extremely expensive for Nigerians to acquire, and that's what they use to get the travel documents, that's what they use to buy the airline tickets and everything, and they're going to Saudi Arabia. Mostly, I believe that you gave them visas, so you must have screened them. You believe that they deserve the visas. So who's going to reimburse them for all this cost? At least the financial cost, not the emotional.
No,
that's another thing. Who's going to reimburse them for that? That's one. Two, what's Nigeria going to do officially? Yes, you're trying to get investments from Saudi Arabia. Okay, we hear that. We get it. Oh, they voted 26 billion to Africa last year. They're going to increase it. We get that. But are you not supposed to also maybe return their own planes too? So we can balance things out. Because that's the way it should be. I remember one time under Jonathan that Nigeria gave it back to them like that. Then it was South Africa one time. I think it was under Buhari too.
I think that
the one I trust the most for this kind of thing is Obasanjo. I'm not a big fan of that man.
I think
if you do Nigeria one, the man will do you too.
I think that at this
we
point,
can't keep doing this.
The federal government has said that they're going to investigate. I think that there needs to be some investigation quickly. Sadly, I don't know if a lot of people might not like what I'm about to say. But the truth is that, especially with those kind of countries, until there's a full investigation, I'm sorry, I'm not sure I trust Nigerians that much anymore. That there's no hanky-panky involved.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I like your angle.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm not, until we're like sure. Now, from the angle of the Saudis, you gave them visas, except you say between when they flew and when they got to Jeddah, there was an issue, which I feel that there should definitely be an explanation, even from the Saudis, why you would do what you did, which, like I said, there's probably a valid reason for it. But also, at this point, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the Minister of Foreign Affairs needs to be on it. There needs to be a proper explanation to Nigerians so that other people, it could even be from the angle of the airline. It could be the fact that, because according to what I had read, there were even flights from Nigeria with that were Arab carriers that took people to that same airport, and people got. So are we saying it was an issue of the carrier? So at this point, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs needs to come out and tell us what exactly happened, at least to forestall this kind of things. And especially when the president is still there, it makes it easier to sort it out quickly, what happened. And I hope that these people, if there's no hanky-panky involved with these people, they get complete compensation from whoever it is, this country, the airline, whatever it is. But I think that it is unfair, except there's some explanation to it. But I will say, I cannot trust anybody until there's a proper explanation to it.
Well, we've spoken our minds, and you said what you want to say. I've said what I want to say. So we'll just wait until, the so-called investigations are carried
there's an
out,
update on it.
and maybe until the Saudi government also comes out to explain why they think, what they've done is justified.
Okay, now moving on from that. And we're going to a conversation where I saw a headline earlier where the president had ordered that police personnel should be withdrawn from VIPs, and the the Minister of State for Police Affairs had come out to say that they are on top of the matter and that they plan to comply with it. Now, my question is that I thought that there was already an order from
The Inspector
the
General
Inspector
of
General
Police.
of Police.
See, if you want to, I saw this story and I skipped it because if you want to doubt why I'm doing it or confirm why I'm doing it, get on Google and write Inspector General of Police to withdraw police whatever from VIPs. Virtually every Inspector General of Police that comes to this country makes that statement in the first 1 or 2 weeks of their appointment. Why? Do you understand? Why is it that
and then nothing ever happens?
that means
now,
nothing? That means they
are
don't
we
do
now saying
nothing
that
about it.
it now has to take the president for those things to happen?
We're under policed. Nigeria is under police. Okay, maybe people will tell you now that this particular one is different because the IG must have passed his request to the presidency or to the president to say, okay, this is what we're trying to achieve. We get that. Maybe, let's see. But I just know that we're under policed. And even if Nigerians who have privilege of being able to pay for the Nigerian policemen to protect them as their personal guards and everything, if they have this, you wonder, okay, let me chill. We are under policed. And some Nigerians actually pay to get police protection that is like their own personal protection. They have policemen. Some have 4, 5, 6 with them. But my grouse with that system is that you see them sending them on demeaning errands.
Very demeaning.
The other day,
which in the first place, you're not even supposed to be there.
The other day, one was coming back
Carrying
from
somebody's
abroad,
handbag.
from the UK leg of her trip. She carried her bag by herself. When she got to Nigeria, we saw a soldier wheeling her bag for her. Hand they pay namni? No. You see them at parties, you are sending policemen in uniform to go and collect food for you or to carry your bag. Or I don't think it's right. And these are some of the things that even make people disrespect the police and the military. We must accord them that respect and stop this thing. Again, government must look on it and see that there's actually a business angle to it.
Yeah.
Instead of allowing the DPOs and the commissioners, do some of these sharp things, create a special force that is into this line of protection, that is an affiliate of the police. And that's income. Because if you find out how much people are paying to get armed policemen to protect them, because it also shows you that, yes, there's probably a business angle to it. So why can't the government be the one to create it? After all, during his colloquium, I said that he was going to employ 50,000, 500,000 or whatever number of you into the military and the police. If there's any time to do it, that time is now.
It is now. Anyway, moving on, talking about the police. Police have now arraigned the driver who killed 2 sweepers in Lagos. There were stories of him running away from Lasma yesterday. Had an accident that killed 2 Lagos roadside sweepers who are saying that they're sisters or something. Sadly, those 2 people lost their lives and he ran away. They're saying that he has turned himself in and they're set to arraign him in court. I just have a issue is that what happens to the Lasma people involved?
Again,
there has to be some conversation around those people.
Lasma would most likely hide under some operational, gimmick and say, they had stopped him and he refused to stop and all of that. On more than one occasion, we've had cases like this. One, people must also learn to obey the law. Nobody is perfect, but let's start trying going forward that when they stop you, stop. If you've been caught in the act, pay the fines and all of that, But please don't try to evade arrest to the point where you lose control, to the point where 2 innocent, hard-working lives were cut short. On a Monday morning, these people got to work so early to clean the streets, the same streets that we defile by throwing rubbish out of our beautiful cars onto the road. But we like to dwell on solutions also. So, but let us find a way to also get LASMA, to accept that they were part of the cause in this matter. But I would want to advise the Lagos state government and other state governments in Nigeria putting road cleaners on major highways is dangerous.
It's dangerous, yeah. The idea of it itself also.
We like the fact that you're keeping the city clean. It's beautiful. But this is 2023. And as a little boy, I even remember many years ago that they actually had those equipment that would sweep your streets. And these were trunk B roads then.
Those are things that need to come back.
So we must bring those things back. If it means maybe you have to wait until night time to always sweep the streets, so be it. Let's stop risking the lives of these people. Now, I'm not saying you should take them off the street because this is employment that we're talking about.
Yeah, we need to find something else to give these people.
Let's take them to the trunk B roads where the traffic is not as bad. And again, let's bring back those metal barriers and stuff that they used to create for them. Yeah. To demarcate where they are working.
Yes, I think that probably helps.
It's something that the government must do, and they must do with every sense of expediency. We must work fast to ensure that we stop putting individuals on the freeway or highway.
Okay.
In the name of cleaning the roads.
Let's go a little bit to Kogi State, where we're still, there's still a bit of reactions here and there from the off-cycle elections. The elections are over. We already know who the next governors are going to be. The one that has a new governor and the two people that are returning. As governors. We already know that. But there's a video that was put out of the governor-elect in Kogi State where he was drinking Gary. And he was asked why he's drinking Gary. And he said that Gary is what sustained him in school, that has always been a part of him. Okay. And being a governor or not, he will always drink his Gary.
That's Ododo.
Yes.
Okay.
And I thought, okay, that's quite interesting. Anyway, I just wanted to put that out there because that's the way I'm going, really.
Okay.
As the PDP governor, the PDP candidate in Kogi State, and the person that was a distant third.
Distant.
Very distant. For people that know the result, very distant, has now come out to allege that all the opposition parties came together to make sure that he was a distant third.
Okay, so
wait, there are two different statements that I wanted to talk about. He had an interview, and another thing was where he was asked if he voted,
and he said it's not important.
And he said that it's not important, that some people won elections while they were in jail. Yeah. So him voting is not important. How is that not important?
Well, it shows how petty this Dino Melaye is the person we're talking about, has taken the elections. You want to govern people, but for some petty reasons you didn't vote. But if you
because voted, obviously he didn't vote.
But if you voted, please show us proof. That's one.
Remember that there was a press conference he made earlier that day that he wasn't going to vote.
Okay, so, but let's talk about his conspiracy theory. Does he have maybe the minutes of this meeting? Where the opposition people, was it a Zoom meeting? So that
everybody came together and said, Google Meet. We're voting SDP, we're voting ADC. We're guessing that for something thousand that he got, those were the ones that did not agree.
Wait, you need to explain this, your conspiracy theory. Maybe they started assigning votes and they said, okay, let's give Dino 40-something thousand so he can be third. I don't get it. Dino, come on, what's up with you, man? You lost. And if you have proof that you did not lose, go to court. With proof. Don't go and do the nonsense that your uncle was doing. Now that they're saying somebody went to once. They said, prove that you won an election. They're not saying you should be saying somebody graduated or did not graduate. Prove that you won an election. That's how you win something in court. But conspiracy theory. Oh shit. Look, stop being so losers, man. You don't lose.
The one that is what amazing me is that
so it's even opposition people that came against you.
Then
you have problem. That means even you. If opposition can gang up on you,
then you are not. The truth is, I think that Mr. Dino Melaye has always been a drama King.
Anytime you call somebody
Yes.
Mr., I know that you are up to something. Which one is Mr.? You, Mr.
Is he not Mr.? Is it not a Mr.?
Senator.
Is that a senator?
2-time senator.
Former senator.
There's nothing
Mr.
like that.
Derobelai.
But meanwhile, he called someone a former senator too
Exactly.
in a video. So
He's a former senator.
This is the first time I agree to
He's
you
a former senator.
turning
He
logic
could
on
not.
his head.
He could not win his senatorial
All
district.
right, let's leave the
I-
There are other important things to
Why?
discuss.
Why? It's interesting.
We-
Anyway,
let's
before
leave
we
this
quickly,
matter.
before we go, where like
We have plenty time. We
Dave,
have 7 minutes. to
no,
go.
we do not. No, we do not. Any which way. Quickly before we go, there looks like there's a lot of issues with a lot of social media apps all over the country. A lot of countries have a lot
All
of
over the
issues
world.
all over the world. Starting with Israel. Israel has asked Meta and TikTok to remove about 8,000 posts that are related to the Hamas war. They say, basically, they're saying that posts that do not put them in a good light.
Well, if they have such powers, let them go ahead. I just want to use this opportunity to call on Israel to please stop the aggression and for Hamas to stop the stupidity.
You don't have one.
It is also time for the world leaders to be honest with themselves. When will there be a solution to Israel and Hamas? People are dying.
Yeah, people are
mostly
dying.
innocent people.
Yeah, a lot.
So let's find a permanent solution
to
that
it.
works for Palestine and works for Israel. And I know that solution is there.
Okay, also quickly, Russia has now also fined Google $164,000 for not storing their user data locally. They say that Google should be storing their data that gotten in Russia.
But it's cloud storage majorly, and it's where your servers are.
And
So
you
it doesn't
should
really
have a
matter. So
server
it
in
does. I'm sure
Russia.
Google will find a way around it, but it can be anything. The fact that it's even in the clouds, any of the Google engineers can access these things, even if it's in Russia or not.
Now they're saying that they want their stuff in Russia.
Okay.
Now, also, Nepal has now officially banned TikTok. They're saying that it has a negative effect on the country's social harmony. As much as they're not pointing out like a special exact incident to why they're doing it, but they're saying that there are a lot of things that are put on TikTok that is not helping families and all that, and because of that,
TikTok is a different world entirely. TikTok is one app that if you don't get it, you don't get it. You understand? But it's actually helping a lot of people.
TikTok.
There's a Chinese TikToker. I think that's what they're called, right? That made about $13 million. Promoting items for people. Like she picks something up for 3 seconds and she's done, moves to the next one, and 13 million in like how many hours? I'm like, Father Lord, are you sure I will not go and open this TikTok?
Sorry, I know that
Nepal,
a lot of people make a lot of money off it. But when I see a lot of videos that are being imported from TikTok, Nigeria TikTok,
that's another planet.
to Instagram, I'm like, what?
All right. Before she moves to anything, I would like to mention that the Nigerian Super Eagles will start their campaign to qualify for the 2026 World Cup. And, we did not make the last World Cup because Ghana were better than us. And they taught us a football lesson. We didn't qualify. And Nigeria is starting on that same leg again now. You're at home, you're playing Lesotho, and there's this story of how the NFF is telling the coach that he invited players who are not active or whatever. Okay. Every weekend you hear about Nigerians doing exploits.
Yeah.
Home and abroad.
So I don't understand
So how come they're not on the same page with the team list that they were going to put out there in the first place? And if we start to think, it's Lesotho, man,
nobody.
He go shock you.
Football has moved past that level. Football definitely has moved past that level. Okay, quickly before we go. Oh wow. Just want to put it out there. Rema has now officially become the youngest African artist to sell out the O2 Arena.
O2, baby.
I think that is amazing. It's an amazing thing for him to.
At 23.
It's a huge feat. It's
At
a huge
23.
feat.
Rema has achieved so much in this short time that you wonder, like, is he really 23?
Yeah,
yeah. Wait, are you using football age in music?
It's amazing.
It's such an amazing guy.
Definitely
Congratulations to
amazing.
him.
Congrats to him. And on that note, that is all we able to take today on the bar. Thank you for listening. Thank you very, very much for watching. Thank you for the comments. We'll be back again tomorrow at 3 p.m. West African time. Peace.